All right, guys. Hi, my name is Maddie, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on college. So, my first tip is majors. Just because you take one major doesn't mean you get a certain job. And what I mean by this is a major is very general, right? And a job is very specific. And most students go in thinking that if they take this major, then they kind of automatically get this job. And that's not necessarily the case. So, for example, I am an English major, and I know a lot of people make jokes about, oh, you take English, you're gonna be an English teacher. It wasn't funny until it was funny. All right, I did become an English teacher, but what happened was it became very apparent to me that just because I had a degree, I wasn't able to walk in like I thought. So, English is English, and education is the degree that teaches you how to be a teacher. So, I just thought that, oh, because I'm an English major, I can become an English teacher. But no, I needed a certification to be able to teach. And then I need to take some other courses to verify that, I knew my stuff. A lot of students leave college like me, and they think that just because they did that major, it's easier to get a job in that major. So you're learning like general practices, education in that job, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to like the qualifications that you may need to enter the job market or that specific job, right? So whether that is you need experience with a certain system, you need experience in general. This is how you get so many students after 4 years not able to find a job for like a couple months because, like I said, they don't have the specifics for that job. Another thing I really want you to realize is that college is a tool. College is like a ecosystem of resources and money, and it attracts all different kind of things, right? So of course a degree is something you should want at the end of the tunnel, but it's not the thing that sticks and it's not the thing that matters. For example, colleges have college fairs, they have workshops, they have businesses always on campus trying to partner with them or sponsor them. They have workshops that you can set up interviews with. They have like resume building and just all these things to help you be a better student and to get you a job. And like I said, when you're young and you're just coming in, you don't really focus on those things. You're just focused on trying to pass these classes, right? So it becomes really important that you actually like engage with these tools that are on campus. It's important that you network on campus, right? A lot of people come in, they're partying and they're making friends and they're getting a couple recommendations here or there, but that's not networking because you're not actually engaging with the tools that are on campus to help you get someplace. You're getting addiction, like you're partying, you're not doing the things you're supposed to. So, for example, college fairs, these companies that you want an internship and work with are coming to you. They're hoping that you ask some questions, hoping that you ask the ins and outs and the tips and tricks to get to where they are. And you don't just have to go to your major's college fair. I went to a finance college fair because I was just bored. So like you have access to not just only your major, but so many different opportunities just to like expand your palette, right? Because sometimes you just don't know what you want to do. Another thing that they have is resume building. So you have people on campus that look at your resume and help you fix it up. We have people that will give you clothes and stuff to wear to interviews. Your professors are also a tool. Don't make a mistake of just taking your classes and never going to office hours. I know, like I don't like going off. I still don't like going to office hours. But my junior year, my senior year, and I realized like the things I need to do. These jobs are asked for letters of recommendation, and you ain't talked to no teacher or no professor, or no instructor, or no nobody the entire 4 years. How are you going to get those letters of recommendations? Your mom is not going to cut it. Your auntie or your mom's best friend is not going to cut it. Okay, so you definitely need to not talk to all of them because some will write you better reviews, but talk to, network with people that you like or are in a position that you want to be in, because those are the letter recommendations that will be the strongest. And each job is asking for a minimum 2 to 3 recommendations. So whether it's to get in graduate school or whether it's to get into, a job. Changing your major is something that a lot of students really do not, it's something that a lot of students freak out about. And I know why, okay? Because society has this expectation that you're going to come to college and know exactly what you're going to do. And 99% of the time, that's not the case. But you're here for 3 to 4 years and you're spending $1,000 on something you want to do. Doesn't make sense, but and that's why changing majors has always been like anxiety, because we know that it costs money and it costs time and it costs resources for us to be in here. And life still goes on while you're doing your major. But the thing about changing majors, you have to think about it in 2 ways. One, most people will change your majors, so it's not nothing to worry about. The way college is set up is that your first 2 years you're doing your associates, and then the last 2 years you're doing your majors. So Changing your majors any time between those 2 years is free game because you haven't started your major classes yet. So it doesn't matter if you change one time or 5 times, you are still getting your general requirements, your prerequisite. Now, when you get to your major, it gets kind of tricky because depending on what you're trying to change it to, that might have some problems. If you go from bio to dance in your junior year, these majors have nothing in common. They have no overlap. And that will put you in a position where you're going to have to, you may not have enough credits to go to that major, or you just might have to start all over again. So you could be in your junior year and stuff, and you just kind of have to reset, right? No one wants that. But the best way I think to do it is choose something you really like. So I was a psychology major first up until my junior year, and I decided like I didn't like it and I didn't want to be there, and I ended up taking a creative writing class and ended up switching. Now, psychology and English are both in humanities, and it's not too similar, but similar enough where there was some overlap. So I was able to get away with allocating the classes I had took for psych and just brushing it into my extracurriculars. Now, I will say my last 3 semesters, I spent the entire time doing nothing but English classes. That might not be something you want to do, but there is a way to shuffle and look at your majors in a way that you can still come out on top. Another thing that also helped me is my flight plan. Every institution should have a flight plan, and it shows you all the courses that you need to graduate. One thing I did that also helped me was I took all the classes that I needed. Even if it was extracurricular, I would search through my thing to see what I could take, and I would take it. So I wasn't doing any exploring. I wasn't taking anything that I didn't need. And I also passed some AP classes, so that allowed me to graduate in 3 years. And I was still able to graduate in 3 years despite me switching majors at the last second because I had did it like that. Now that requires a little bit more focus because like I say, you just can't take any, like I didn't take anything I didn't need. Try to pick something you really like so it'll be easier to make that jump if you need to. Number 3 is prioritizing experience over degrees. So experience comes in the shape of internships. It comes in the shape of, jobs or certificates or just very like specific things, right? So I was telling you before that majors are general, but like internships are specific, right? So whether it's paid internships, unpaid internship, these things add up to experience. And oftentimes the things that internships market, like the qualifications and the things that you're going to learn, is what you can use to get into somebody else's door. Internships are not the only way to get experience. Certificates are very particular. So it goes major, minor, certificate. And they're usually 12 to 18 credit hours, which kind of translates to 3 to 4 classes. And what certificates allow you to do is it allows you to just get a certificate in something very concrete. So this is something that you can use to build your resume. This is something that you can leverage to even get into an internship, or this is something, like I said, that is just good to have depending on what you have. Like it's good to have something very, the point of a certificate is you can focus on a specific skill and put that resume, or you can focus on a specific skill to allow you to open more doors for you. Minors are also a thing that you can do. I didn't have much experience in minors, but I really feel like certificates are like a hidden gem that a lot of people don't use or don't realize that they can utilize. Another way to build your experiences that I did not realize until now was that there are so many skills that you pick up in college, right, that you don't know. So like I said, I'm an English major. I'm a teacher by trade, by my resume and qualifications and stuff right now. But the things I learned is what I really did after I graduated. So I started a blog for a year. I built a website. I worked on SEO. I started YouTube where I did video essays. I did a podcast. So I did all these things, right? And I didn't realize that these skills were attainable for me because of the foundation that I had because of, critical thinking and, writing. If I had that insight when I was still getting my undergrad, I would have realized that I can use the classes that I'm taking to leverage the skills I'm learning now. So let's say I wanted to become a copywriter, that I knew that in hindsight, or I had insight that I wanted to write online. I would tailor my classes to that in a way that I could, right? So maybe I could take a technical writing class. Maybe I could take like a storytelling class. I'm just making it up, I don't know. But the idea is to tailor my classes to that specific skill so I can just learn as I go. So I'm getting my degree and I'm using the things that I'm learning. I'm using the access that I have to leverage these skills, and not to even mention clubs. Like, clubs are a big thing. And clubs are a big thing because you can just show up to events. You don't even have to be a membership there for. You don't even have to pay money. But like, there's so many clubs on campus. So whether it's a finance club, whether it's a literacy club, like there's so many clubs that you can join and then get free knowledge, because they're also hosting events. They're also setting up things, like depending on how active they are, right? So that's another way that you can garner experience that I would tell people. Now, of course, you can also go online to get these skills. Like, you go to Skillshare. There are other like websites that offer certificates, but those are also ways to get specific skills that you don't even have to go to the university for. And that they may cost, a little bit money, but those are ways that you can build on your resume within the 4 years, so that by the time you leave, you have a much beefier resume, and not like the skeleton resume with just your degree on it, because that's what it looks like, a skeleton. The last thing I will say is define your experience. I wouldn't recommend anyone going to college now if they didn't have a plan. College is not the place to throw spaghetti on the wall, in the sense that I realize just how much time and commitment it takes. A lot of people are going there because they feel like they have nothing better to do. And I mean, that could work out, or whether it's parents or they just don't know what to do, or peer pressure. And all of those things are okay, but you are spending thousands of dollars to be here. These teachers do not care. And because of that, I feel like it's just best to go on with a plan. It's okay if the plan may change, but here are some ways that you could, prioritize or define your expectations a little bit better, right? So the first one is to go on a plan. So whether that's certifications, whether that's a degree, whether that's experience, whether that's, like I said, there's so many resources on campus, and it doesn't even have to be a whole overarching goal, right? You can see what's available on your campus and just set like monthly goals. Like, okay, this month I want to work on my LinkedIn. This month I want to work on my resume. This month I want to experience this. This month, like, you can do that. I know time is limited. I know y'all be stressing now. I know mental health is important, and I know life be life, but you can set many goals throughout the semester to give you a better probability of getting a job later on, or even an internship. Another thing I will say is I would scope out jobs early on and see what is available in my area, in my major. So I know a lot of people require degrees, but I think it's important to scope out like what is available once you have the degree. Like, what qualifications are you looking for? Because at one point the degree becomes a bare minimum, and it's important to evaluate like what qualifications or what softwares or what things in my major or in my career field area of interest that I'm interested in, so you could kind of focus more on those specific things, right? Because like I said, you're trying to leave with something. Your degree is not necessarily something in this case. Like I said, it's not the end all be all. And a lot of students work through the summer, so they're in their major and stuff like that, but during the summer they find themselves working at regular like jobs, like fast food or entry-level jobs. And of course you can say that's a part of the college culture, but it's better to start scoping out these qualifications first 2 years, so you can really kind of build or pivot towards that. So you might be able to earn an internship, or you might be able to get some experience or volunteer at a job, because it's all about defining your expectations. I would do this by kind of looking up specific jobs. Like right now, if I looked up, English majors and stuff like that, there'll be teaching, there'll be substitute teaching, there'll be copywriting, there'll be media marketing. I mean, there's some adjacent majors as well, but you can go online, on Indeed or on LinkedIn. You can look up the specific qualifications for any major, or just look up like YouTube videos, but start doing your research sooner than later. And the third thing I would like you to consider, which is kind of controversial because this is a college tip video. Sometimes you don't even need the degree, in the sense that depending on your career path, college might not be needed. Sometimes, depending on your field, experience becomes more valuable than college, because like I said, just because you have a degree, it doesn't really tell us anything except that you've been there for 4 years and you got the degree. I know for like bio and sciences and all of that, like the degree matters, but I would say to consider whether what you're trying to do needs a degree, because some things don't. Some things just need certificates or experiences, and you don't have to stay in for 4 years to do it. Sometimes you just might need to devote yourself for a year or so. to get access into that job and then get experience on the job, because the way the society is going, the way the US is going, bachelor's is a bare minimum. For me, the master's is the new bachelor's, and because of that, if I wanted to pursue other opportunities in teaching, I would need to go into higher education. Now, right now, I'm in my master's. I can tell you for sure this is the last degree that I'm getting, but because it's the last degree that I'm getting, it changes the way that I'm moving in my degree, because a lot of people are trying to get their PhD, so like they need all A's, they need certain papers to be on their thesis, they need like they need certain recommendations, right? For me though, I'm trying to leverage the experience I'm having right now, so I'm throwing spaghetti on the wall. I'm going to as many events as I can. I'm meeting as many authors, and I'm asking as many questions as I need. I'm trying to scope out people to see potential like careers that I can do, because I understand that once I leave this campus, my access and my resources are kind of cut in half, because like I said, this is a hub, this is an ecosystem of resources, right? And so if you only need a year, or if you only need a certificate and stuff like that, like I said, that just kind of, it gives you more energy if you know that the career path you want requires this or doesn't require this. And there are so many instances where people are doing jobs that they don't like, and then they take classes, and then they get certifications to pivot into another field, and then that's what gets them to that field. Not a 4-year degree, but just specific things, certifications, internships, experiences that allow them to pivot, right? So that's the end of my video. Like I said, I teach the freshman and sophomore NC 101 and 102 classes, and I just see them doing a lot of things that I did. And these are just, like I said, a couple of tips that I picked up over years and that I'm still utilizing now in my master's degree, right? So I hope this helps, and comment if you have any other questions or like any other topics you want me to make.